that we have both of our teams on here, Ignite and Shine and Rise Up Empire. I think it's really awesome to come together from time to time because I think we learn so much from each other and I think we can feed off of each other's energy. And so thank you, Ignite and Shine, for joining forces with us tonight because I really, really appreciate that. And I know I always leave feeling fired up hearing Morgan speak as well. So Morgan, do you just want to dive in? I don't know if you have any announcements or anything you want to lead with, but otherwise I'll have you kind of, talk about what this your idea for the call was and all of that.
Sounds good. Okay, so obviously we called this call the secret sauce, which was intentional because there is no secret sauce. Like, I can't tell you the number of times when I was a newer coach or a year or two into the business where I was just like, if somebody like Megan Ewelton or Courtney Bell or Summer Tucker could just tell me the secret, I could do it. I could just make this work. But it's just not that cut and dry. I wish it was. So even though there's not a secret sauce, there is a recipe. And so that's kind of what we're going to dig into tonight. I made notes, so I won't ramble. We'll get through this. And then Krista is going to wrap up with an awesome addition to this, or sort of a different perspective, I guess. But, the recipe is just like, and I'm not a baker. Actually, Nick doesn't let me bake because I ruin stuff. He's the baker, believe it or not. But it's just like if you're baking a cake and you leave out what is it? I don't even know the name of stuff. The baking powder or whatever. And the stuff doesn't rise or whatever. It doesn't work, right? Because you left out one ingredient. So coaching is the same way. We can feel like we're doing all of the things. Maybe it's we're doing our workouts and we're posting about them and we're sending all the people happy birthday messages every single day. We're telling all the people how cute their kids are or whatever, but we're leaving out the ingredient of inviting. Or maybe it's you're inviting, but you're not posting. Or, some combination. If you're leaving out one thing, it's so hard for all of the pieces to come together because you're missing an ingredient. So tonight, I'm just going to kind of go through those ingredients, right? Okay, so the first one is your journey. And I feel like everybody on this call understands the importance of that. This is not a new coach getting started right call, so I'm not going to dive into all of the things about your journey. But guys, that is the crutch. That is the foundation of coaching. So every single day, no matter what, you have to get up and you have to push play and you have to drink your shake and you have to fuel your body. Because if we're not doing that for ourselves, nobody's going to see our transformation. Nobody's going to see our progress, and nobody's going to believe that they can do it too. We talk about a lot, there is no mold for coaching. If you've ever been to Summit or even Super Saturday, you look around and no coach looks the same, right? All sizes and shapes. So when I say my next sentence, which is people have to see you getting results, it doesn't mean that we all need to look like Megan Ewelton or Jatana Jackson or whatever. That's not what I'm saying when I say people have to see you get results. But I am saying that people need to see your progress. It's not enough to just talk about our journey and, be on track for a week and then fall off and sort of stay falling off and then sort of get back on. They have to see the progress. And yes, they have to see the ugly, right? They have to see the good and the bad. But for people to bite off and believe in you, they need to see the transformation happening, and not just what you look like, but also on the inside. So every single day, your journey. If you have never completed a program start to finish, that should be your right now goal. Your non-negotiable is to finish your first program start to finish. As crazy as this sounds, I've been a coach for 5 years. 80-Day Obsession was the first program that I literally did from day 1 to day 80 without changing things up or deciding to go for a run or deciding that I didn't like this program, so I was going to switch to another one. I was consistently on my journey for the 3 years prior to 80 Day Obsession, but 80 Day Obsession was the first time that I pushed play on day one and I finished the program, and there is power in that. You feel the power on the inside, and your followers feel that because you're so ramped up and excited about it. Okay, so the second ingredient is the fact that this is a relationship business. Sometimes I don't know how else to say it other than this is a relationship business, but we can break that down a little bit by understanding that, just like I said, people need to see your progress. They need to see the things changing in you. They also need to know that you care about helping them, and that this is not just another, oh, she's selling something on social media, right? Like, this is where we get to set ourselves apart from anybody else trying to sell something on social media by building relationships with people, making genuine connections with people, making new friends. Like, when I started coaching, I've always considered myself like an introverted extrovert. So having a conversation with somebody in public is not really hard for me. But after a few hours, I'm like, okay, I'm so ready to go home now. Or it's really easy for me to just stay home and not go do anything. But it's not hard for me to talk to people. I don't know if that makes sense. But so if you find yourself, if you think you're introverted and it's hard for you to have a conversation with people, I would say that that's one of those things that you just have to get out of your comfort zone and understand that it is another like crutch piece of this business, building relationships with people. I've had, over the years, people have said, like, I'm excited to sign up with you because I feel like you took the time to figure out what I needed, or you seem to really care about people and me and not just trying to sell me a product. Like, you want people to feel that way. And yeah, maybe that means your business grows a little bit slower than if something is super automated, or, it's just like hammering out links and share carts and link, doing all that. Maybe it means your business grows a little bit slower, but I guarantee you it means that your business grows deeper and more fulfilling, and the people that are joining you are your people, and people that are going to stay and are going to be with you. And then those people are going to duplicate what you've done. So as you're building relationships with people and you're showing people that you care, if they decide to join you as coaches, then they're going to understand the importance of that because they felt that from you. And so they're going to do the same thing. So just like some tangible things for building relationships. And guys, I know some of you already know these things, which is what Chris is going to talk about at the end of the call. But happy birthday messages every single day. Going through your Facebook or Instagram list, literally A to Z. This is what I've been doing with evacuation and just a new month. Already kind of thinking about the new year and the importance of making tons of connections and building solid relationships now. I just decided, like, okay, it's been a long time since I went through my Facebook list. And I'm constantly sending friend requests and following new people and growing my network. So there's people that I haven't talked to yet. So I'm just going through it, taking a few each day. I'm not sending 50 messages a day. Okay. Like today I sent 8 and 5 invites. That's what I did this morning before I went on to the other things that I needed to do. Maybe tomorrow I'll do more than that, but I guess my point is it doesn't have to be a massive number. But so going through your list, I talk a lot on my team about, and Krista and I were talking about this today, like, are you working or are you scrolling, right? A lot of us, it's human nature. It's the world that we live in to pick this thing up and just sit there and mindlessly scroll. So what I want you to do is sort of flip the script in your head on that and create a pocket of time, whether it's after your kids go to bed or I don't know when it would be in your day, but intentionally scroll. So what I mean by that is set an alarm on your phone so that there is a cutoff and, it doesn't just go on into Instagram or Facebook oblivion. But sit there and scroll, but don't just scroll without doing anything. Interact on what you see. There's actually and I don't know all the ins and outs of the Facebook algorithm, but Facebook knows whether you are on Facebook being social or whether you're just on Facebook posting and trying to get stuff, right? So they understand when you are sitting on your phone scrolling versus when you're sitting on your phone actually being social and interacting with people's stuff. So this is sort of twofold. It helps your algorithm, which means more eyes on your post, but it also is a way to connect with people and build those relationships. It's a way for you to show up on people's posts and just comment. Just give your 2 cents, right? Connecting on stories. This is such an organic way to start conversations with people because people post stories, right? And we watch them. So comment. Every single time you're watching a story of somebody that, no offense, that isn't a coach on your team or isn't, already here with us, build a relationship that way. Usually people are sharing stories about their kids or, stuff that we can relate to, right? So comment on that. And then the important piece about building these relationships, or one of the important pieces, is something that I think we easily forget to do, which is go back and actually invite the people that you're building a relationship with. So something that I've started doing is, and mainly I find myself doing this with Instagram, I guess because on Facebook, I'm on my computer and I can see all my messages, but regardless, as I'm having conversations with people and it's, free flowing and we're having a good conversation about whatever, I go to my calendar and I write down their handle 2 days from then or the next week or whenever, sometime in the near future, to remind me to go back and invite them. Because I don't want to just throw in a random invite in the middle of talking to somebody about their kindergartner adjusting to their first week of school, right? I want to continue that conversation, but I don't want to forget that I was having it. So I've just been writing their names down in the calendar, and it prompts me to go back during my power hour and invite that person. Okay, so on to inviting. Just like I said this morning, I sent 7 or 8 connects and 5 invites. If that is what you do and that is what you can do consistently, cool. If you can only do 3 consistently, cool. The power is in what you do consistently. It's not necessarily these massive numbers. And y'all, if you're inviting 10, 15, 20 people a day, by all means, don't stop if that's working for you. But if that overwhelms you, when you hear somebody on a national wake-up call say, I send 50 invites a day, I was telling Jessica Vermillion in a voice message a little while ago, a lot of the newer, really successful coaches that are sending 50 invites a day do not have kids, right? They have the freedom to sit in front of their computer or on their phone and do that. They have that amount of time. I don't. I personally cannot keep up with 50 invites a day, and so I don't do that. And I still have a successful business. I still have created an income that's more than what I made as a nurse, right? So don't let that hold you up or make you feel like I can't do what they do. You don't have to do what they do. You just have to do something consistently. Hang on, I need to open the chat. My inbox overwhelms me and then I get burnout and then I don't do anything for 3 days. Yes, there was a time when I tried to do 50 invites a day. And holy cow, by day 3, I was like, how am I ever going to reply to all of these people, right? So do what works for you. If you can do 50 and you can manage that and you can rock that, by all means, like I said, do not change what you're doing because of what I just said. But if you can't, and you can do 5 a day, or you do 3 a day, or you do 7 a day, or whatever your number is, the power is in the consistency. Okay, so off of consistency and back to inviting. Like I said, whether it's that you write people's names down in a calendar, or I have so many notebooks. I'm trying to be more organized, so I bought a new notebook just for names of people that I'm talking to, right? So, and this is what I'm doing. As I'm starting connection messages, I write their names down. If they reply, I highlight them. Then I know, like, okay, cool, this person's actually going to re-engage and we can have a conversation. And then I can easily go back and look at my highlights and either continue the conversation with them or assess to see if it's time to invite them. So the point in me sharing that is you need some sort of process to create that flow from, okay, I've built this relationship, and you spend a lot of time doing that, right? Like, and you're so invested in these people that you're meeting, it's sad isn't the right word. What's the word I'm looking for? It would not be good if we let that activity go to waste and didn't offer them the next step, right? So you just need some sort of process so that you don't leave, you don't let people fall through the cracks. You've sent those invites, and then from there, it's out of your control. Remove yourself from the outcome. They're either going to say yes or no, or maybe they're going to say, I would like for more information, or talk to me in a month, or whatever it is, right? So then that leads you into your next piece of the funnel, which is your follow-ups, the next piece of the recipe, the next ingredient. And again, I'm sort of tracking my invites and connects and follow-ups nowadays all in the same place because I'm just using this notebook. So like I've been writing FU for follow-up beside their name if I need to go back and follow up with them. And then the other thing I'm doing along with who I need to invite on my calendar is writing down who I need to follow up with. Like I have a September list at the beginning of my September calendar of people that told me in August, touch back with me at the beginning of September when I get paid or whatever, right? So figure out what your process is and implement that. Oh, Krista, that's a script. I love that. Kind of how I move that convo to an invite when I feel like it's the right time. Yeah. And I think, sometimes it's easy to, in the beginning, I remember thinking like, hold up, you want me to talk to this person just so I can invite them? What? That just doesn't feel right. But the thing about it was, and okay, so I'm going to skip over social media and I'll come back because this flows really well into mindset. The thing about that is if you're having thoughts like that, like if you're hung up with, I feel like I'm just starting these conversations so that I can turn around and invite them, then number one, I would say, are you super in touch and clear with your vision? Like, do you really know what you want this to be for your life? Are you super in touch and clear with how this can impact people's lives? And do you think constantly, and guys, when I have a bad day, this is where I go. What if I had never said yes? What if somebody had never invited me? I had an eating disorder for 11 years. I cannot imagine where I would be today without this. And that is all that I have, all the chills. Like my hair on my arm is sticking straight up. That's all the motivation and the encouragement that I need to release those fears of, oh, I'm starting a conversation so that I can invite somebody. No, I'm starting a conversation so that I can potentially change somebody's life. And if they say no, that's okay. People can tell me no all the time because I'm going to find my yeses, and the people that tell me no are going to keep watching. And when it's their time and they're ready, they will come back around. So to dive into belief a little bit, I was watching, what's this guy's name? Keith Callahan. He wrote this book, Build to Last. He did a really good YouTube. It was a team call, I'm pretty sure, for another network marketing company. I couldn't figure out exactly what it was. But anyways, it was an awesome call. And he said, he was talking about belief and he was talking about mindset. And guys, how many people do we hear on, I'm going to start talking really fast because I just looked at the clock. How many people do we hear on a national wake up call say like, I was here and I went here because I changed my belief or I changed my mindset? That's what happened to me. I've been a coach for 5 years, and the first 3 years were like good. They were enough for me for it to justify me being a stay-at-home mom. It was fun. It was enough, but it wasn't. I was making a lot of excuses, right? And I did not have the mindset. I did not believe that I could take it to the next level. So 80-day obsession, I decided to change the way I was behaving and the things that I was telling myself, and things shifted. How many times do we hear that story? Like all the time, right? So he was saying, what is it that takes people from A to B? What's that mindset shift? He listed 4 things. Number 1, belief in the products. I don't feel like that's an issue. We're all here. We all believe in the products. Number 2 is belief in your company, belief in this business. We're all here. I think we all believe in Beachbody. It's changed our lives in some way. Number 3 was belief in leadership. So belief in the company, belief in Carl's leadership, belief in corporate's leadership, belief in Krista's leadership, belief in mine, Courtney's, Megan E. Wilson, whoever is your upline, belief in that leadership. Do you have that? And then number 4, and I think this is where the shift changes or the shift happens, belief in our ability to do it. And then to break it down a little further, do we believe that we have what it takes to succeed? And then here's the kicker. Are you actually willing to do what it takes? Because it takes all of these ingredients. It takes consistency. It takes pushing through during the times when you feel like, I can't do this. It takes you literally walking over to a mirror and being like, yes, you can. Belief in yourself and belief in are you actually willing to do what it takes? I think when you can hammer into that, then your mindset shifts. And when your mindset shifts, action follows that. All the things feel like, and y'all, it doesn't mean that it comes without struggle. Like, I still get frustrated and I still get down on myself and I still think like, whoa, am I still missing something? Where, what am I not doing enough of? Like we're always going to have those tendencies, right? But I think you get to a point where you're able to talk yourself out of that. You're able to not go down the wormhole of, I can't, I'm not enough, I can never make this work. You bring yourself back up out of that. Okay, so really quick, social media as one of the ingredients. Sorry to flip-flop back and forth. When you're posting at least 2 times a day, sometimes my social media or my Instagram posts are not exactly my Facebook posts. Sometimes I just copy and paste in both places. Sometimes I share on Facebook, like just a little, like you can color the background of the post or whatever, and it's just a few words. Or I'll share a blog or whatever. They don't have to be exactly the same, but you need to be showing up 2 times at least. Use your stories. And this is just a little tip because I have questions about it sometimes. If you don't know this, on Instagram, if you swipe all the way over in your stories to down at the bottom where it says hands free, and you hold down the button for 3 seconds, it will give you a 3-second countdown. And then you can record your video that way. I can't read my handwriting. Oh, constantly taking photos. So like, because we're saying you should post 2 times a day, right? Sometimes maybe if you work full time or whatever, you feel like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna post? I don't have anything. Take pictures all the time. I took a picture of me and Coy in our yogurt parfaits today that I'll probably post tomorrow. So just constantly, having stuff on your phone that you can post, even if it's not the same day, it doesn't matter. And then for content, things like what you're learning, tips that you can give moms, things that are helpful for you. Talk about your family, talk about who you are, talk about coaching. And then I wanted to share just really quick, and then I'll be done. I signed up for this call with Josh Coates, and he sent this tracker, and it has this awesome posting schedule on the bottom. I can share a picture of it. But it says Motivational Monday, so share a piece of your story. Tuesday is a motivational tip. So one thing that you've done that's helped you get to where you are today that's product related. Wednesday, talk about something funny, something that your audience will get a laugh from. Examples, chocolate cravings, not showering all week, being on your period. Thursday, your purpose. So the reason you love doing what you do. Make sure to mention something that you're doing today, such as reaching out to customers or training your team. Product breadcrumb. So I love that. Friday, and this is, when I read it, I was like, I kind of like it. But anyways, something controversial. So something that you know is a little controversial, but you know your person agrees with, i.e. you love Jesus, but you cuss a little. Saturday, talk about your why, talk about the vision that you have for your life. Remind people that no one is naturally motivated. There are more important things than your paychecks or results, that you're doing this because of the people in your life. And then Sunday, transformation with a call to action. You've added so much value all week. Now be straight with people. Let them know the kind of results you've had, why you're proud of them, and how they can join you. So this is like Gary Vee in a nutshell. Jab, 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 right hook. I'll share this if y'all want to see it. Okay, and then last thing for social media is just understanding that this is your storefront. Bright, well-lit photos, not grainy. Stand in front of a mirror. Be consistent. Show up. Smile a lot. Be the person that you are, so that your person will be attracted to you, right? You want a team full of people that it's easy to walk in and be in a room with. Okay, that's all I got.
All right, so I'm going to wrap this up, but before we do, I want to go back to kind of just circle back around to the inviting question about, moving forward from the connecting to the inviting, because I think that that's the hardest piece for a lot of people. And while I did chat, type something up very quickly in the chat, I want you to realize that I don't use scripts. Sometimes I use scripts. What I use is, I call them more like common phrases that I'll use from time to time. But for me, as the introvert, it was really hard to go on Instagram and message 20 people a day about where they got their daughter's hair bow just because I wanted to get to know them to move them to my boot camp, right? So sometimes I understand that it can feel that way, but what I want you to realize, number one, Morgan said, dig into your mindset and your belief in what you're offering them and why you're there. But then also, what kind of helped me make the mindset shift is I get to choose who I work with. You get to choose who you work with. And it was kind of hard for me to say that at first, because I feel like, as Beachbody coaches, we want to love on everybody and we want to help everybody because we know this can transform their life. But I would go to, they say, go see who watches your stories, see who clicks on your post and go connect with them. Well, if I saw somebody who liked my post and then I went to their page and it was negative energy, sucking, draining, what do we even have in common? Like, I couldn't find that. I didn't reach out to that person. And it wasn't, I had to be okay with that. And then that helped me feel like my connections were exactly what I wanted them to be. Much more genuine. And in fact, when I sent then invites to these people, these invites came across as much more genuine. And moving from the connection of just talking and get to knowing to a person and even just small chit chat, like I just tell them straight out, hey, like, our conversation was great the other day. I really enjoyed talking to you, XYZ, and I thought of you because I'm on day whatever of my next program, and that's kind of how it flows. I just tell people why I thought of them, and I also focus on what is in it for them. So that was probably the one thing that I left out of this quick little thing that I sent. I did type 2 or 3 invites to some teachers today that were back to school in New York. So last week was their first week back. This is week 2. And because these workouts are 20 to 30 minutes, I know that that's a really easy thing. Not easy, but it's easier for, a busy teacher back to school to fit into their day. So I would implement that into their invite. I watched a training on the Beachbody Champions page the other day by Megan Ewelson, and it was always about what is in it for them. She called it, I think, WIFI or something like that. But she would say, go back to what is in it for them and point that out in the invite. And so be confident in that. And so, to really wrap things up, maybe you're a newer coach and you're sitting here through this all and you're like, this is great. And you're taking a million notes and, as fast as you can go. But maybe you're a more seasoned coach and you're sitting here and you're like, I know that, I've heard that before. I think number 1, it's always good for us to have a reminder. And number 2, just like Morgan said, there's a lot of days that I still sit here and I think, what am I not doing enough of? Or what am I doing wrong? Or I think, I'm doing everything that she's doing. Why isn't it working for me? And I think it's, for me, when I'm having those conversations with myself, it's really good to go back and think about those things because there's always something not there. There's always something that's not happening. And I've used this analogy before, but I want you to think about T20. For those of you who did Transform 20, think about how you felt, right? Think about the amazing results that you got, because I know that my crew that over on Rise Up Empire, I saw it in our boot camps. People got amazing results and they were in love with what they were doing. Why? It was 20 minutes. You were very intentional for those 20 minutes. You knew you were going to fit in those 20 minutes to work out and you were going to give it all you had. You weren't going to stop and check your social media during the breaks. You weren't going to, you were very intentional. And so you didn't take all day long to get those amazing results. You literally took 20 minutes. And so when you're building this business, you have to be all in. You have to believe in what you as a coach has to offer somebody, and that your heart is genuine and you really want to help them change their lives using these products that have changed your life. So you have to be all in. That doesn't mean all in with your time. It means just all in with your belief. And so if you're finding that you can't fit these things that Morgan mentioned into your daily life, you have to think about, are you using your time intentionally enough? You can get a lot done in 30 minutes. A lot done in 30 minutes. And so I encourage you to kind of go back to a tracker. Okay, I know it's back to basics. It's nothing glamorous, but go back to a tracker. Whether or not it's the Success Club tracker that Beachbody has put out for us that literally lays it all out. You don't have to necessarily follow the time requirements that they're telling you that each may take. Maybe it's not going to take that much time, or maybe you don't have that time, so you're adjusting it to it. But those are the things that you should be doing. Or I used a Power of 3 tracker growing my business. What Morgan says is it's important to be consistent. No matter what that number is, it doesn't have to be 50 invites a day, but whatever it is for you, for me, for the first year of my business, it was 3 connects, 3 follow-ups, and 3 invites a day. And I did that every single day. And I didn't feel burnout. I didn't stop doing the things. I kept going and I built a business, and it may not have grown as fast as those ladies on the National Wake Up Call, but it was what was working for me in my season of life. So if you're feeling like you don't know how you're going to do this, what are your goals? What were your goals when you first started? What is your why? Do not change your goals to meet your season of life right now. Adjust your methods. Think about why you're here to begin with. And I think for some of us, we've been afraid to really put those into words. We've been afraid to dream big because we're afraid of what may happen, or what could happen, or what won't happen. But do not give up on those goals that you set for yourself from day one. Shift your methods. I, for a while here, was doing a lot of invites and a lot of connecting. And you know what would happen? I'd be really good for 4 days. And then for 4 days, my inbox was full and I was burnt out and I wasn't doing anything. So what was the point, right? And so I messaged Morgan over the weekend and I said, this may sound silly, but this is the number I'm sticking to. And like Morgan said, if I can get more in this day, I'm going to. But I also want them to be genuine. right? I want them to feel genuine. I don't want them to seem forced. And if they feel forced to me, they feel forced to that person. And so by really focusing on those things, by being intentional with my time, guys, set business hours and don't check your messages, right? I have people all the time telling me, I don't want to spend I don't want to spend the whole day on my phone. Then don't. I do feel like, I work more now than I did before, but that's because I may be on my phone for 3 hours a day now, but that's because I didn't want to spend 8 hours a day at a desk away from my kids. And that was my why. But, when I was working full time, I did set business hours. And I would answer messages from like my coaches and stuff because you guys are fun. I love, I want to be interacting with you. You guys are just like my friends. But it's gotten a lot easier to see I'm interested, ... when I pull up my messages and to not click on it because it's not when I have the intentional mindset or mind space to even reply. So put down your phone, and then that's going to make you feel so much better when you are working. So I really do encourage you to set business hours, whatever that may look like. On Sundays, I sit down, I plan out my entire week, and I know when I'm working. Even now, when I have a little bit more flexibility and freedom with my time, I still know when those pockets are going to happen. So be intentional. Use a tracker. Schedule your time. Set boundaries for yourself. It's okay. And as Morgan said, are you just scrolling? What I have caught myself when I get burnout is that's what I do, is I do a whole lot of scrolling. And what I've realized is what I was doing is I was like scrolling and I'd see a picture and I'd be like, oh, that's cute. But I wasn't actually typing that, like I would be like, oh, that's nice. Keep going, keep going, keep going. But think about how you feel when you get a comment, right? Like it does, like when you see that somebody notices your hard work or somebody is like, your daughter's adorable, like you kind of smile a little bit inside, right? So I think about how that could help somebody else brighten their day, and how they could see that I really was thinking about them, not just scrolling right past them. So that's kind of in the back of my mind at all times as well. And so if you, really commit to this tracker, I challenge you all to commit to a tracker tonight for the rest of the week. And then sit down at the end of the week, reach out to your upline, reach out to Morgan, reach out to myself and say, okay, so here's my goals. Here are where things are at. And let's look at my tracker. And we can see where there's holes. We can see what may have to increase or where you're spending too much time and not enough time. Because our goal is for each of you to find success, however that looks like for you. I don't want to say in the least amount of time, but without having to, this job is about freedom and flexibility. And so we want you to have that while finding success and what that looks like for you. Yes, just like tracking. So Morgan and I were talking about that. Just like we tell our challengers when things aren't looking, when they're saying I'm not losing weight and I'm not seeing any numbers on the scale moving or my pant size or I'm not seeing, results in my pictures, what do we tell them? Track their nutrition. Or we do a food collage, take a picture of every single thing that you're eating. This is what you want to do with your own business. When I don't do my tracker, I fall off. I have a notebook that says connects, invites, follow-ups, and then my to-do list on it, as well as my, my planner. And I think you just have to find what works for you. And if you don't have a tracker that works for you, reach out to us as well, and we can help you find one of those. And that's all. That's really all I have. I know we went late. Morgan, do you have anything else to follow up on or to close us out?
No, sorry I talked forever. But I am going to share this Josh Coates tracker with you. And you can share it if you want. Because it's like 7 invites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So even if you just did half, this is for Josh Coates. This is good. Like,
yeah, let me know what that is. I would like to see that.
This is a good tracker.
Okay,
I've printed it. I should use it.
All right, picture time. Ready? 1, 2. All right. And then, sorry, we always do a boomerang. So if you want to be in the boomerang, you put yourself on the camera. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, that was good. I'll save it. I'll get those to you.
Okay.
All right, bye. Thanks, guys.